Poor little girl. Okay, so, oh, it says we're now streaming live on Facebook.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, so welcome everybody to Be on the Cloud for Friday, April the 9th. So we have a very quick and easy question for everybody today as we go around and introduce ourselves. Is it sunny where you are? So Tanya Hilt, Cloud Business Services, and Tanya's Bookkeepers Bootcamp from non-sunny. It's very gray and cloudy today in Belleville, Ontario. Lawrence, you're next.
Hi, I'm Lawrence Fox, CPA, the CPA that loves to do bookkeeping, which is why I hang out here. And I am in the basement in Thornhill, which is going back and forth between cloudy and sunny. I went for a walk at noon. It was cloudy. When I came downstairs for this conversation, it was bright and sunny. And now it looks like it's cloudy again.
So the sun's trying to play peekaboo there. All right. And Diane,
Peekaboo.
you're up next.
Hello, everyone. I'm Diane Mueller, Soma Small Business Solutions and Trifold Bookkeeper Advisors. And it is a miserable day out there today. It is windy, it is stormy, it is raining. And
Wow.
yeah, not so great. And it's pretty cool. It's like less than 10 degrees. So,
Wow.
But apparently this is the one day event only. And then we're going to have a great weekend. And next week, 20 degrees every day. So I guess
Good.
you got to take the good with the bad.
Absolutely.
Spring
Okay.
My hip is killing me.
Arthritis, obviously, then,
Yeah,
or
as
a
soon as
break
the
or something.
As soon as the barometer changes,
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah. Okay. So Stacy, you're next.
Stacy Stanley Young from Stanley Young Business Strategies in the heart of North America, Winnipeg. And I'm just looking outside. It looks like the sun's trying to peek through, but we have had 24 hours of surprise rain. It was supposed to stick to the southeast corner of the province, and I guess that extended into Winnipeg. It was beautiful, drizzly, 24 hours. It was exactly what we needed. We were a little dry, so it was a nice welcomed change. And like Diane, we're supposed to have a beautiful weekend. So
Nice. Okay, Jessica, you are next.
Hi, Jessica Fox, Bandera Fox on Facebook from Florida Virtual Bookkeeper in sunny Florida.
Always
Yay!
sunny
So I was
Florida.
gonna say almost always
Mostly,
sunny.
I mean, we've had some dreary days, but we get over 300 and something days of sunshine, and today is one of them. I'm actually looking forward to rain. It's been very dry
Yeah, when it's
lately,
not
so we should be getting
hurricaning,
rain in
it's
a few
sunny.
days.
Yes, not hurricane. That's good.
No,
But
we
it's-
are expecting a very busy hurricane season, and I am still exhausted from the last several ones. Climate
It's-
change has made it, before I used to have to worry about hurricanes once every few years. It's been about 5 years of
in a row.
we have to hunker down,
Yeah.
put shutters, or
Wow.
evacuate at least twice per season. I am exhausted. I am ready to move now.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. But yeah, you're right. It seems that it's been, I was going to say, it seems it's been about 5 years constant.
Just an FYI, Winnipeg doesn't have hurricanes. We don't have earthquakes. We're, nice and stable.
Yeah,
You
it's
When
know
it
like
that
gets
my
400
cold,
husband
degrees.
is actually
cold.
looking for a job within his company, and they have locations in Canada. And he asked me if he should look at those positions, and I said, "Go for it."
Come to
So,
Canada.
I don't know if it'll happen, but hey.
Hey,
You already
Stacy,
got-
it gets 400 degrees below zero,
It's
and
a
you
dry
have
cold.
and you have 10,000 feet of snow.
No, when it gets that cold, we don't get any snow. So
It's too cold to snow. Exactly. But don't go outside and breathe through your nose, otherwise your nostrils will close together.
Oh, your nose falls off.
Yeah.
what
Not
the
all of
masks are
Canada is
for.
that bad. Not all of Canada is that bad.
Come to BC and you'll be just fine, Jessica.
Yep, in all 4 seasons. Woo-hoo.
Yes, usually in one day.
Yeah.
And
No, that's Calgary. Lord.
Yes. Calgary, you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, it'll change.
That's
Yeah.
Winnipeg.
All right, Carol, you're next.
I'm Carol Kosterchuk from Carol on Call Business Services Limited in Gray, Maple Ridge, BC. It's supposed to
All
get
right.
sunny tomorrow and then be up to into the 20s by the end of the week. So looking
Nice.
forward to it.
Very nice. And then Samantha, you were late to join the call, but we were still
Yes.
introducing yourself, so it was perfect timing. So the question we are asking today, so introduce yourself to the folks watching. And the question is today, is it sunny or not where you are?
Samantha Wagner, and I am in Ontario, just outside of Barrie, and it is currently sunny out, and it's quite nice.
So I shouldn't have moved from there because I used to live in Alcona.
There you go. Yeah,
So
it's pretty
just
nice
outside
here
of
right now.
Barrie. And
Yeah.
here in Belleville, it is all gray and yucky. So welcome. I think this is the first time you've come live, or the first time that you've come on with your
Yeah.
face, at least, because
Yeah.
you might have. Okay, well, welcome. Hopefully we don't scare you away and that you'll come back more often.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
Come into my web, said the spider to the fly.
Yes. So we started late. I would love to say it's technical difficulties, but usually I try to get on early. It's my fault if I'm not there early, because Jessica used to show up like 15 minutes early, and then when I stopped, she stopped and stuff. So, but we try to do all of our venting and stuff we need to do off camera first, and just things got a little bit longer. We had lots of discussion so that's what took us so long. So, hey, that's a good thing about coming and joining us live on Zoom. You get to be involved in the real discussion. The interesting stuff happens off camera. Yes. So, I don't know. Did anybody have any topics that they thought they might okay, we have two topics. Lawrence's
Go
hand
ahead,
came
Carol,
up
you go
first. Okay. What did
I just
gentlemen?
want to say, when I went on to view and had clicked nothing for a choice, my March PD7A came up.
Yay!
Oh, okay. So to let people know, we were discussing, Kara was having difficulty getting her PD7A, which for US folks, that's our copy of our source deductions for our payroll deductions, essentially. And we were trying to help her get that to come up. And okay, well, yay, I'm glad it came up for you, Carol.
I thought, what the hell, I can try it. If it doesn't work, okay. And it did.
It did. Good. All right. Okay. So Lawrence, then you had a topic of
Well,
discussion.
okay, so last couple of weeks ago, I sent out feedback forms to some of my clients, so I can get feedback on what's doing. And also we use that stuff to put together, testimonials. But I got one from a client where I thought I should put on my Superman cape because it was so wonderful. I didn't know she was talking
Please
about me.
share. Yes.
Yeah, it was also
share.
really scary because she used all the words that are in my new website. I know she hasn't seen it yet. So I guess I'm on the right page with that. But one thing she did say and ask is, did I have a standard file naming convention when clients upload files, or a standard set of folders for her to use? And I said, I hadn't thought of that. Duh. I said, I'll ask some of my colleagues what they do and how they do that. So I'm asking.
Okay.
Great question.
So you're asking for the client to use or that you use?
Well, she said if it's going to save me time from renaming the files, then she'll be happy to do it at her end, because that way she'll do the work and I won't bill her for the time.
Very
Or
nice.
won't be billed
Oh
in for
man,
her
I'm
time.
jealous.
Yeah.
I want that client. My clients don't do that. I mean,
particular-
I could give them the
They get it
suggestion
wrong.
and they won't, but I don't bill by the hour. So,
I know.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny that you asked that, because we literally, so we're moving, because I just took a boot camp, which was very interesting, being on the other side as a student in a boot camp that was modeled, just like mine, the 12 weeks in the group and that. Let me tell you, I have a whole new appreciation for folks that have gone through my boot camp. And all I say is, I am sorry. It's just like there's a lot of stuff, but you have to keep your blinders on and stick to what's in front of you. There's a lot of squirrel things. So we've moved, and it's the one thing, the 12 weeks of boot camp, and I've got one thing accomplished so far. But again, I had to prioritize and just stick to one thing at a time. So I moved from Smart Vault to SharePoint, and I changed our renaming convention literally last weekend. So what I changed it to, that I found was really easy, because clients I'm now inviting them to view their bookkeeping folder, whereas before in Smart Vault they didn't. So now I figure it's, if they were coming in person, I would give it back to them. There's no anything that we don't want them to see, we're not putting in that folder anyway.
Right.
So what we've done is we've gone month/year for most everything. If we have to put a date, we'll do that. So that way it sorts in order by that first, then their name or whatever we're going to call them on our side. Because what happens if you accidentally move it into the wrong folder? You can see that. So like mine is like my reconciles that I did for March would be 03-2021 space CBS space, and then what is it? So it's, you know, the checking reckon statement or whatever. So it's date, numerical date, company,
Mhm.
then what it is. So what does everybody else use?
So I have, I do a similar thing. It's always by date. I use the year. So I go, so today would be 2021 dot 04 for the month dot and then 09, or if it's a bank rec like that, it would be the last day of the month, and that just keeps everything in order. I know I've been told that I got to watch with the dots.
I don't use dots, but yeah.
Yeah, I
Similar
use
to that.
hyphens, but I have a new folder for every year, whereas that's not a concern. 2020 is all in one year, and then that gets archived, you know,
Yeah.
once it's done and closed, and then 2021 is in one. So
Yep, mine does too.
okay.
But in case I, you know, much like your naming convention where it would be CBS, just in case you get it in the wrong folder,
Yeah,
same
yeah,
type
it's
of thing.
easier.
Something,
It's easier to see that because
Yeah.
you're right. If you've got month first and then year,
Well,
it's just going to jump right into there, right?
or a bank rec, you know, April 30th, CBS bank rec, and I happen to put it in 20 rather than 2021, I could override something. So, but whatever,
Yeah,
same
absolutely.
concept. Now, again, much like Jessica Lawrence, I am lucky if I can get the clients to go online. They're like, okay, could you tell me how to go online to get my bank statement again? Like I don't know if I have a lot of, I don't know. I have a lot of technophobes, let alone getting them to do a naming convention. So I'm just lucky I get it.
Yep.
Well, I'll throw something at you that I just uh, uh, became aware of what somebody else does this morning. I was at the seminar that Kelly put on this morning for CPB Canada, and she does not host the client folders on her computer. She makes the client have the folder on their computer and she uploads to it, which eliminates, when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense, eliminates her ever having to be responsible. So as she described, what's happening is we've gone from a paper box that we had to keep, you know, stacks and stacks of until we could give it back to the client, to now everything resides with the client and she's got no responsibility for keeping it for the 7 years.
So
They do.
she logs into the client's computer to download the stuff?
Yes, exactly.
No, I think she was more saying that they use Dropbox,
Yeah.
Google Drive, whatever
Yeah.
and then they
Yep.
invite her to the folder. So yeah.
Yeah, so she
it's
can
still in the
upload,
cloud.
she can upload anything that she's putting up also,
Yeah.
and also see whatever it is that they've put up there. And I
Well,
thought,
yes. We're doing it through a Dropbox account that I own. I've created the
Yeah.
folder and made us both members.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when you disengage with that client, what happens is, and we've all gone through this, is it is extremely hard to transfer all of the, get them to actually download all of those files to their computers. So
Yeah.
she does it right up when she actually onboards somebody that they have to set up the file.
So
So I thought that was really interesting.
So that is interesting.
Mm.
My only issue with that, and I have a couple of people where I have said, this is the way we run. Here's your link. We use Smart Vault. Here's your link to Smart Vault. Here's your, you know, yada, yada, yada. And then we have things in the same way every time. And I have a couple, but I have one particular client. Oh, I'll just upload that to Dropbox, and has invited me to their Dropbox. And I have about 3 different clients. So my Dropbox folder is ridiculous because they're all naming things for them and not necessarily realizing that I'm seeing 3 different people. So I have one folder there called accounting, and I just have to know that that belongs to client
Oh.
ABC.
Well, the answer to that was easy. I have a folder called client accounting files, but each client has their own folder within it.
Inside it,
Right.
yeah.
But you own that, or you're the
It's
driver.
in my
Created it.
Dropbox account, but
Right.
don't forget, because of the way Dropbox works, depending how they set it up, of course, there are local files on my drive, there are local files on their drive, and then there are the cloud files.
Right. Right.
So to
So-
a certain extent, if I disengage with the client and I just stop sharing the folder,
Yeah.
I think she still has the files.
That's
in
not
her-
I don't know about Dropbox. The way I do is I use SharePoint, and I've always set it up where there's the client's file, and inside the client's file, there's the folders that I want things put into if they upload, and where we put everything. And it made so much sense to me what Kelly said, is because I just recently disengaged with a client, and it took 6 months of me bugging for them to download everything off of my SharePoint when we disengaged to theirs, because otherwise it's just like a box. I'm stuck with it for 7 years.
Well,
Yeah.
so what we
And
do
you
is
you also
I
have a
wanna-
naming convention for the client folders.
Yes.
right.
Yes.
And so
And you
do
have to
you
teach
have
them what that
first
is.
quarter, second quarter, or just a file per month, or
Whatever
just-
the client is, it's going to make sense to the client. And I would probably be the one that sets that up originally, so they can just drop into there. So
Hey, Bianca.
the birthday girl is here.
yes, happy
Yeah.
birthday, sweetie.
Happy birthday, Bianca. You're
Oh,
muted.
You're muted.
Sorry I'm late, but I'm here. I just had a meeting go
That's
late.
okay.
So
Yay, you made it.
thanks for
made
the
it.
birthday wishes.
No, and yes, you look great for your age, which I will not say on Facebook or up on the world for here people to see, but I saw your mom at it.
Tanya,
like, holy-
Tanya, Bianca looks great.
She looks great. Sorry, you look
Period.
great.
You don't have to qualify that.
You're
You don't
right.
have to.
Bad me. You're absolutely right.
you.
And then she has
Bianca,
a
you
mother
look
that puts
awesome.
all of these embarrassing pictures on Facebook of her when she was little and teenage.
Oh, I love
and-
them. They're great.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just the
At least
old.
she's wearing clothes in all of the pictures.
If you
She
say
is.
my age, then it ages her. So it's like this
That's-
ripple.
I was.
So I don't care
did
that
not-
I'm.
I did not think you were your age. I would have said knock 10 years off easily. Believe it or
Yeah,
not.
but you do now know exactly how old I
I
am,
do.
at least.
How old she was when she had me.
I
You'd
don't
have to
know how old she was
math on
when she
that.
had you.
How old was I when I
Well,
had you? 21? 20? Yeah, 20.
Oh,
Okay.
you were just a baby.
22? No, actually more than that. 20. I don't know,
No.
22, 23.
Something
I'm
like that.
43.
Yeah.
Diane, would you like a
You're
calculator?
20.
Yeah, exactly. I should be able to do that.
This should be easy math for us.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
But we're
what?
all accountants and none of us can add without a
But to
calculator.
my defense, all 3 of my children were born within 3.5 years of each other.
Did you
I
I
not
was
was-
know?
like, who, when, where,
Hang on.
why?
Did you not know how that worked?
You
Me
would
and my
think
two
not.
brothers are each 2 years apart.
You would think
See?
not.
Stacy, me and my older brother are less than a year apart.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
Irish twins.
was an accident.
Happy
You
accident.
don't have
Definitely.
to tell us which one of you was the oops.
I used to have, I had a coworker who was 9 months. There was 9 months difference between her and her brother.
That's
And
horrible.
Everybody would
Mhm.
turn and look at mom and go, so. And she
Well,
was
in
just
reality, Bianca, and I think you probably saw that yesterday, Bianca was born a bit early.
yes.
I
So
saw
if
that.
you actually did the real math, it's worse than a year apart.
Well-
She hadn't been, yeah, if she'd actually gone to, yeah. And her brother, actually, all three of my kids were preemies. So
Oh.
her brother was also born 3 weeks early, her older brother. So
Well,
Well, this coworker, the mom, if you looked at her and said, "Oh, really? 9 months apart," she would just turn and look at you and go, "That's what the curtains in the hospital are for."
well,
Oh my
okay.
God.
So
Right, so-
not to outdo this person, but my friends, when I actually put it together, her sister, 4 of them, less than 10 months between each of them.
Wow.
So I'm like,
it comes
you're
to
like
estrogen?
9.5 months. I'm like, it took me 9 months to fully be recovered down there. I mean, as far as, and this is way too much for Facebook world to hear. I know that.
I
but-
know exactly. I could say so much too, but then I went,
Poor
no, we went live. That should have been a
I was
conversation.
like, yeah,
beforehand.
exactly.
Okay,
So,
well,
No
let's
comment.
just change the topic. Sorry.
so let's go back to adding. So, okay, so as you said, Lawrence, we should be able to add easily. I will throw this out there very quickly. When I was drunk, I played rummy with my sister, and we were going backwards. It was like rummy 500, and we were counting backwards. And I was having a difficult time, and I was very, very drunk on lots of vodka, and I forgot the word subtract. And I'm like, I said we need to, I said what adding backwards. So there we go. There's and she has never let me live that down, that yes, I forgot the word to subtract, and it was and so yeah, every time she's always making fun of me. Do you need to add backwards, Tanya?
It was
So you were in that-
it was very dramatic for Bianca growing up because she could never understand why her brother's birthday was after so she's April the 8th and her brother's April the 20th. And she would be the same age as him for that couple of weeks, right? They're always the same age. And she would get upset and say, I was born first. My birthday is first. So
I should be older.
Yeah, exactly.
That's math, right? I was born to be a boogiemer.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So you know what? So I guess, did anybody have, first off, like on what Lawrence has asked about, anybody else want to add something about the naming convention or file conventions? Stick to our topic of conversation.
It's a couple of things to think about there, eh? To get it. But I think I'm going to take a look at what Kelly's suggestion was and see if I can't, because we pay for this too, right? I mean, it's storage, and you pay more for storage.
You know what though, and
That's in
we
my pricing
do,
document.
but I go back to, 90% of my customers are in my system where I had control over how it looks like. And especially this one client, oh, I'll just put it in my Dropbox. No, I've asked you to use Dext. I've asked you, like, I need you to do it this way.
Mhm.
And it takes me so long to get my brain going, oh, I can't just look here at all of my clients. It's like A, B, C. Oh, right. I got to open up. I got to switch. I got to go into a different system. And so
Yeah.
while it makes sense, if I relied on my customers, I'd have some on Google, I'd have some on SmartVault, I'd have some on Dropbox. And I always want to make sure as to where is that data being stored, whereas my clients aren't necessarily paying attention to it. And in
Right.
our practice, it is,
Well, so
and
far,
sorry, US, it's everywhere but the US.
well, because the US has very different rules.
They have
And,
very different rules.
So there's like I can't remember the terrorist rule. I can't remember what the heck it's called. Something
Patriot
Protection Act. The
Patriot.
Patriot Act. Thank you.
Patriot Act.
So the Patriot Act, right? Whereas Canada, you're right, we've got very different rules. So with us, I'm more concerned. I needed to be either on a Canadian server, or if I have the choice, I'll pick the EULA, because, or your Europe servers, and that's actually tighter rules than Canada.
well, I know Dropbox, if you're not in the US, the files are supposedly in Ireland.
Ireland,
Right.
yeah.
So
Yeah, so it's
that- that
under
I'm-
it's
that's-
under
I'm not
tighter.
concerned about that. And
Yeah.
so far, all of my clients have agreed, yes, Dropbox is good enough.
But that's the thing, Lawrence, you paid attention to that, and that
Yeah.
works for you. But if you went to one of your clients and they're like, oh, we'll use Google, oh, we'll use, whatever, and
No,
they're
no.
not necessarily paying attention as to where that data is being stored.
Yeah.
And
No,
at the end of the day, it's going to be our fault.
Yeah, no, I specifically said, one person was using Google Drive and I told her to switch over to Dropbox because that's our standard. So
and my concern would be kind of like Stacy, I guess, if you've got all those clients, say you're jumping into this program and that program and this file naming convention, that naming convention, these folders and this and that. Now you're going to be a lot more inefficient because you're doing that. And that's what I want clients to use what I use. Now, I will say that, most of us that know Kelly does not have a lot of clients. She truly does part-time bookkeeping and, does not have the same clients that those of us that might have. So,
and maybe that's why it's attractive to me, because I'm in that same boat, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And I do see the attractiveness to it, but on the flip side, I see on the other side. Now, what I do is we have a disengagement with the client and I just let them know, hey, it's your responsibility to download this, but it doesn't cost me anything extra. I have Microsoft for Business. Like I had Smart Vault. We've now moved off of Smart Vault over to SharePoint. Smart Vault cost me extra. Yes. Now that we're not doing taxes, it didn't make sense. SharePoint, I would keep it for our own internal uploads. So it's not going to cost me anything extra. So I'll leave it there for the 7 days. I'll tell them, or 7 years. I'll tell them they've got X number of years to take it, 60 days to take it down. But in all honesty, I'm going to just leave it there, leave it with their access and give myself a follow-up in 7 years to remove it.
So
let
me ask another question, because I use Smart Vault with one other colleague and he says, upload everything to Smart Vault. And I find the interface is not easy.
No, it's not.
I don't know if he's using an older version of Smart Vault or the most up-to-date one, but I find the interface a little clunky, which is why I've always gone Dropbox with my clients, because it's relatively straightforward. They understand the concept.
Yeah.
Smart Vault is clunky. Yes, it is. It is we have to train our clients to be able to upload. Whereas SharePoint is like Dropbox, except for they just get an email to confirm it's them to verify. And then it's a drag and drop, right?
Yeah.
So,
and SharePoint's got a lot more security behind it than what Dropbox is. But Tanya, if I go over my package in Microsoft 365 for SharePoint, I've got the business edition. They charge me extra. I have to buy extra file storage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you do, but you're given was it 1 terabyte or 500 gigabytes per site, right?
Yeah.
So,
but just remember, you don't get it for
Not
included. It's
Yeah. No, but it's per site. So I've now broken it down per site. So I've got one site for Bootcamp, one site for clients, one site for our internal.
Yeah.
We had everything on Smart Vault, and Smart Vault only gave us 500 gigs, and we were not even close to that. So now I've got to set everything separated over 6 sites and the tax stuff gone. So I know we're never going to hit that. Because I don't put things, I always put it I don't put videos. I'll put a link to a video because videos take up a lot of usage. So I'll throw a link to a video, I'll put a PDF and I'll reduce the PDF. That's just something when I combine them, that's just something that is automatically set in my settings to reduce and minimize the file size. So
Diane, there ain't no such thing as a free lunch.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you're right. If I were to upload videos and, great big, images and all of that stuff, but I move it all, we just.
I don't do any of that, but I've had to buy extra storage for clients.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't let them control what we put in there. And again, I'm not putting their day-to-day documents. That's all in Receipt Bank and QBO. This is their bank rec. This is their HST filing. This is, it's very basic stuff.
Yeah.
Jessica,
what do you use? What do you use, Jessica?
I am a Google gal. I do have a separate service that is it's smaller, so lesser known. It's called My Docs Online, but it will be equivalent to ShareFile. And that's where the clients upload. So that's my hard and fast rule. You have to click on my link to upload. Do not share it via Dropbox. Do not attach it to an email. I will reply with the link, say, please click here and upload it there. So I'm not strict about how they name it because I'm just glad to get the stuff as well. But I am very strict on you use that link and it's in my website, and in every page there is a button saying click here to upload your files.
Right. Right. So,
So that service is more like an inbox for me. So that one I think is 1 gigabyte, but it's just while I process and then it gets archived in G Suite. My G Suite is unlimited, so
Yeah.
I'm never running out.
nice.
Samantha,
Nice.
what do you do?
I am using Financial Sense, so they can upload their documents there, and I'm really liking that. And then anyone that's not using that, I've switched from Dropbox to Sync.
Okay. I've heard good things about both Financial Sense and Sync. Not
Yeah, I'm
used
really
either, but I've
liking
heard good
Financial
things.
Sense a lot.
You could do scheduling and everything in there, can't you?
Yeah, in financial scheduling, I really like their projects, assigning it to team members, and then I like the client tasks. That's probably my favorite thing, because so then instead of sending them an email that says, hey, I have these 5 questions, and then getting 5 different emails at various points in time and trying to chase down which questions are not asked, they just get one email that says, hey, Sam sent you, has these questions, and it takes them to the link and they can check them off. They don't always remember to check them off, but they can check them off and then they won't get the email that says, hey, I'm still waiting on this info. So if they only do 3 of the 5 things, they'll get an email that says, I'm still waiting on 2 things. So I really like it. It's good.
The good thing I've heard about it, it's probably the one CRM system out there that is actually set up for accountants and bookkeepers.
Yeah, yeah.
TaxDome is the other one. TaxDome, I think, is the other one. Whereas ClickUp and everything else is you're doing a hack to make it work for accounting.
Yeah.
Not so much a hack as just writing it yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know Carol's moving from ShareFile to 365. Oh, you've moved them all.
I've already
Good.
moved from ShareFile to SharePoint because I now save like $1,200 in a year.
Nice.
Yeah,
My
we were both
ShareFile
in the
was like
we were in the same
$255 a
boot
quarter
camp.
US. So once you converted it,
It's huge. Yeah, we were in the same Microsoft Office boot camp together. So yeah. And then Bianca, what did you use? I know you're WagePoint now, but what did you use?
Well, I used 365 when I had my practice, but now WagePoint's all Google, and I actually really like the live collaboration component of that. But I guess like we don't often work live in documents with clients. It's more task-based assignment stuff. So anyways, I'm liking Google Docs, but I did use Office 365 before.
Well, and as much as we're moving stuff over to SharePoint, we are still going to keep some things on Google. Just because you're right, there's a little bit better on the collaboration on side, but and I will be able to save money on my plan with Google, but we're gonna SharePoint is going to be the main, and then there's a few things that are going to be still in Google because it just works better for them. So
I've been using SharePoint Office 365 for it's at least 10 years.
See, I didn't realize any of that was with Microsoft. So that it was just free in your 365. So we did try 365 for email years ago and it didn't work. And we tried Gmail as well. And we still had stuff going to our spam folders. I got frustrated with it, said, forget it. So we went back to just straight Exchange. And then I said, okay, let's do this. There was some more stuff we needed. Exchange started doing the same thing. So we're getting the same percentage going into spam that was before. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Let's move. I'm actually saving a couple of dollars a month as well. And I'm like, wow, I had no idea all this stuff was included for free. Like I learned a ton through Kathy's bootcamp. It's insane what's for free. So by the time I'm done, I'm not going to take advantage of everything immediately, but if I were to change everything over, I would have in less than a year paid for the course of this intensive boot camp. Yeah. And everything going forward is just a huge savings. And like you heard Carol say, $1,200 a year on one thing to use. So I'm quite impressed with everything that 365 has in there.
I think it was Bianca originally that set it all up for us when she was with me at Soma. Ages and ages and ages ago. Like
I was
really,
like, there's got to be a way. We have to be able to collaborate in a more efficient technological format. Blah blah blah
and,
blah.
and
Like
keep
back
things
then,
filed where we can find them. That was I remember all that conversation. But yeah,
That's-
at least 10 years ago. And I use everything in Office 365. I'm not catching on to Teams so well. I and it's probably just me, but Teams is not my favorite thing.
Teams is supposed to be coming out with Teams webinar. So
Mm.
Yeah,
I'm very interested when that comes out. I'm
Yeah.
going to be taking a look at that and likely being able to get rid of my Zoom.
Yeah. Right
Teams,
right now, Zoom is still a little better than Teams.
Yeah, I
The one thing
think
that
so
drives me, the one thing that drives me the
I
most nuts about Teams is it doesn't display the person's name.
I hate Teams. One of the things that Teams also doesn't have is they don't have the noise cancellation. So
Yeah.
in this day
A
and
lot of
age,
feedback.
as you can, I don't know if you can hear behind me, my husband's here and he's on the phone and his
Yeah.
voice carries. And on the
Mhm.
days where I'm teaching using Teams because that's what that contract uses. And I have a noise canceling headphone. I have a noise canceling a microphone, and he picks up louder than I do because it just doesn't have it.
Like if
Yeah,
I go to
it also
network,
bogs down systems.
if I go to a networking event that's using Teams, I don't know the names of any of the people I'm talking to.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Teams got in there because at the beginning of COVID, they went, we have it and we'll give it to you for free. It was what the school should have used was Google Classroom. It was actually a better collaborative
Mhm.
program.
Yeah, you sound like my son, Stacy. He's a teacher and he's forced to use Teams and he wants to be able to use Google.
It is a good program. I don't want to always sound as if I am against the Microsoft gods. It is a good program, but that was not the thing for it. And you're right, Lawrence. I like having names. When I'm teaching, I like turn around and say, okay, there's only 8 of you here, but you got to put your name on there. You got to figure out a way because, even if you take a piece of Post-it note and put it on your forehead, I need to know your name.
Teams would bog down my system. I could never open it without like a huge delay and a huge bug, and that was my only problem with Teams.
See, and Carol, did we saw it in our groups? Everybody's names was on the bottom, weren't they? In our groups? I think I remember seeing our names on the bottom
I think it is if we're in the
because we're in like a private cohort.
yeah, if we're in the cohort, but if it's somebody that's outside, then I think you don't. You have to ask
Okay,
Kathy.
that's probably
No,
why.
It may not be a default setting.
Yeah.
Right.
So there may be something you have to monkey around with, but my point is you ought not to have to do that.
Oh, no,
Right?
absolutely not.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you remember, but in September, I got a parking ticket for parking in front of my house for more than 3 hours.
What?
I got a parking ticket. You're not supposed to apparently you're not supposed to park anywhere in the city of Vaughan at any time for more than 3 hours. And some fucking yin yang of a parking control officer was walking down my street and gave me a parking ticket after 20 years of living on this street for parking for
Do you
more
have
than
any new
3 hours.
neighbors? That sounds like a neighbor thing. Do you have any new neighbors?
It's possible, but nobody else on the street got a ticket. I went and looked.
We've
Okay?
been there. I had a neighbor like that. Me and my
Yeah,
mom.
it's possible. It's possible. And I said, there's no freaking way I'm paying this $50 fine. And so I went to the city and I complained, and I have a hearing, which they've delayed, in May, and it's on Teams because the city is a Microsoft client.
You should show up as a cat.
You know what? You know what? Some
I'll send
when
you
I had my
business
original
hat.
hearing, all the hearing officer kept doing was repeating the bylaw to me over and over and over again. And she says, there's lots of signs in the city that say no parking. And I said, I went for a drive in the neighborhood and I looked at every street that goes into Thornhill that I normally take, and there's no sign.
Interesting.
And then she said, well, you should know the law. It's a bylaw in every city across Canada.
I've never heard of that before.
Not.
And
I
I
will
said,
testify on your behalf. I've never heard of that before.
I said, really? Well, then I guess I'll have to see you in front of a judge and let the judge tell me that.
Wow.
She
You'll at
basically
least
said,
get a
she basically
discount
said
for
you're
showing
she
up.
basically you're stupid and ignorant. You should know the law. Anyway,
Well, then they're stupid and ignorant shouldn't ever get their taxes wrong, right?
different
Anyway.
department. So I have a hearing in May if they don't delay it again.
Well, now that you've told us all, now you're gonna need to update us on that when it's all done.
Yeah. Well, no,
Yeah.
it's funny because this was a few years ago when I worked more often in the office than not for my big client. And not far from there was, it's the shopping mall, and there's, Tim Hortons, Safeway, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I stopped there in the morning, got a tea, had a visit with a girlfriend. Then I left, went to worked till noon, and I thought, I don't feel like eating what I brought. So I went back, got lunch, and when I came out, I had a parking ticket on my car stating I had parked for more than 3 hours. I'm like, no. So I fought it with the company, and it was a $65 fine. They said, well, no, you were there. I said, no, I was not. I was there in the morning, and I went back for lunch. I know what the rules are, and I actually work. And I was at work, sending emails, doing this, doing that. If you want me to show you that, I can. I said, and if you think that you're going to take me on this, I will be going to all the businesses in here that you are getting paid to do the parking and letting them know how you're trying to take advantage of their patrons to scam money out of them. And he goes, okay, then just pay me $50. I said, I'm not giving you a penny. I did not park more than 3 hours. I parked for half an hour in the morning and half an hour at noon. That's an hour. Well, you could have just moved your car. I said, well, I did because I went to work and I came back.
Well, that's the thing.
You weren't
If I had moved my car to another place on the street, they couldn't have given me a ticket.
No,
Because you would the 3 hours would have reset, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I happened to be parked right in front of my house for the day.
You guys never wiped one of those white lines off your tires before?
Well, that's how they chalk the tire. I mean,
Bianca.
Or just rolled your car a little forwards or backwards? So
well,
the
yes,
line-
but I started doing that the rest of the fall. I'd go out and move my car after a couple of hours because I was getting paranoid.
So that's what they do. They actually, I've heard of that. They chalk your car, do they? Okay.
They put chalk marks on the tire, and that way they can tell if the car has moved. If they come back and the chalk mark is,
Well, and they know how long it's been there too.
yeah, they know that this is the car
Yeah.
that they marked 3 hours ago.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
now what they do is they have these cars that drive around with cameras on them and they scan the license plate. So that car will just have a circuit and it will just go. And then it'll automatically ping and use AI and determine how long that car with that license.
I know I can't park between 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. because there are signs that say that. And one time I forgot and got the ticket and I paid the ticket. No problem. But I said, there's no sign. I said, oh, there's signs everywhere all over the city. I says, point me to one that's near my house. And if you can find one that's near my house that I would see, I'll pay the ticket tomorrow.
Okay, this is your house though, and I'm going to assume you've lived there more than,
I've lived in this house for 19 years. And
I'm assuming that this is not the first time you've parked out in front of your house.
Yes, absolutely.
So we should see.
So
why did I all of a sudden
New
get a ticket?
bylaw officer. New
Well,
bylaw officer.
Bianca, well, apparently somebody else told me this guy drove throughout Thornhill that day handing out tickets.
Quota. He had a quota to get, I bet.
Yeah, so on the first, it was either the 1st or the 2nd of September, he drove
Oh,
around, wrote tickets for
He wants to
everybody.
hit his quota so that he can sit at the donut shop for the rest of the month or whatever.
Well, you're in pandemic, so he couldn't be sitting in the donut shop.
True, true.
But yes, it's either a guy who was new on the job or something, but yes, Stacy, this is not the first time. And my car had been there all summer long on the street.
Wow.
My car
More than
never
3
leaves
hours at
my,
a time.
my house. I'd be in big trouble. I work from home now.
That's right.
So do I.
But see,
The
here
day
we're
I
not
got the ticket,
park on
I'm
the
looking
street
down
either.
the street. There's a dozen cars all parked on the, and we're a residential side street in the middle of nowhere. It's not like it's a main street.
See, that's so we're lucky. We're in a court now. Mind you, I've got a 4-car driveway, but when I had a 2-car driveway, people would park out there. But we've got 4 houses on our street. It's a big ass court. I'm sorry, but there's like you could fit 20 cars parked in the middle of the court and you'd still be able to get around and whatnot. So nobody's ever bothered us. Just in the winter, we're a little bit more conscious. Like when we had just a 2-car driveway before we had it extended, if people would come and stay the night, we would just try to, okay, you know what, let's maybe at night, if it snowed, just in case the plows were coming around, right? We're like, okay, let's not push it. And then let's move one of the cars to on the grass because hey, it's solid, it's frozen solid anyway, so it's not like it's going to leave any marks.
When we had to rent a van to move Ruffy to university and then pick him up afterwards, I got an overnight parking pass so I could put my car on the street because I knew the law.
Right.
I did 3-hour parking in a residential street.
Wow.
But you know, if I gotta pay the fine, I gotta pay the fine, but at least I delayed it from September till May.
Hopefully it's
Sorry,
not
guys.
on May 6th, Lawrence, because I have an amazing webinar on May 6th with Stephen Van Alstine from CPA.
No, it's a little bit
Emails.
later in May than that. I can't remember when.
Yeah.
I gotta actually go back to work, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually do. I have to run too as well. So thank you
Thank
everybody,
you everybody
for
for
joining
your
us.
input.
You're
Bye,
welcome.
You're
Have a nice
welcome.
weekend.
That was great
See ya.
topics. Have a good weekend, all. Thanks. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
I'll leave it. Okay.